You're right. You ready, Fuzzy?
Yep.
Whatever.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you're my intro guy.
Welcome everyone. This is Fright Night with Ferocious Feet, and we got some special guests and some returning members to Fright Night. I'll start off with our special guest for tonight. We have 3-Bit, who's on Pixelated Echoes with me. It's a podcast he started where he's taking some of his animation and uh, technical skills and everything and putting it into that podcast, as well as he's on plenty of podcasts on Fun Speculation as well with me as well. And taking a break from doing commercials and other movie related things. So I'll let him tell you more about himself. But welcome aboard, 3-Bit. Thank you for joining us tonight. How have you been?
Been doing good, man. Appreciate the invite to the show. It's awesome that get to dive into a different avenue of like movies or horror, and I love that stuff. So, and I don't get to always talk about it. So I appreciate the invite. In terms of what I've been up to this week, yeah, it's just I've been in commercial land. I do the commercials for Auto Trader and Aflac, and all the things. So it's been a busy week for sure. But I did get some gaming in, and I got to watch this movie. So I'm sure we're going to talk about it, and I'm excited to be here with you guys. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to join us. And next on the docket, we'll go to Kaneda, who does gaming reviews as well as he's on social media and talking about different movies and different games and going through his list of watched movies and finished games and stuff. Always a solid reviewer, always gives thorough opinions on things. Glad that we have him back on here, kind of a regular at this point. We're pretty much a regular at this point. Thank you, Kaneda, for joining us. How have you been this week?
Doing okay, man. Just just living the dream, day by day. It's nothing too exciting going on here. It's just still, we're kind of the summer's dwindling down. Kids go back to school next week. I got a new toy, so I'm starting to put that together and try and learn how to use it. So that's just basically what I've been up to. Nothing too crazy. No gaming really to speak of either, which I know Ferocious loves when we talk about the gaming side of things, but I don't have much to say about it.
Well,
what new toy did
guys,
you get? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, I got a laser engraver and cutter, and I'm going to be doing something that I think is pretty cool. I'm not ready to kind of reveal what that's going to be just yet, but I will be, I'll say, upgrading, I guess, my a table that I have here, like a coffee table.
Oh, nice.
And it should be, if it turns out even half as cool as I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Nice.
So, just to let y'all know, during October, there will be one episode selected for gaming.
Yes, horror games.
Yes.
I like
I will be
horror games is a good
absent
idea.
for that. Just let you know.
Why?
That would be Fuzzy's thing.
We'll get Fee into it as well. But also returning today, we have Presto Beaches. Glad you're here with us. Know you've been at a few of the Comic Cons with us. Well, not Comic Cons, but like the horror cons and things like that, and also into gaming a little bit, but more so into the movies and whatnot. But glad to have you back on here. Let everybody know how you've been as well.
Thanks. I mean, not as exciting as 3-Bit with commercials and stuff, but I did replace a front porch that was rotted out, so that was the highlight of my week.
Just as cool.
And going to Lowe's and trying to pick out the perfect color. That's always fun. So yeah, kind of a quiet week. It's work's done for the week, so now just some picnics and some wrestling on TV. So it's gonna be a nice weekend.
Nice.
Well, and thanks for having me back.
Oh yeah, no problem at all. Glad you could join us again, and get over to Fee. Let everybody know what you've been up to.
First, want to say Presto is probably gonna be a fixture on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So
spoiler! I just found that out too.
I do recall. See, this is where it comes in. Okay. See,
Okay.
men, you could tell
Oh,
them
boy.
1,000,001 times,
Oh.
and they still don't hear you.
I heard
You.
that. I heard it.
Now I got a recording of it. All right. So
Yeah, proof.
I have been dragging Fuzzy around, as you know, during the summertime because I'm off from teaching. So normally during my off time of teaching, I do preparing. I'll go shop for my class. I'll go do PDs or something like that. I decided not to do that this summer. So I decided to do something that I wanted to do, and that was go to the conventions and do other stuff. So one of the things that we just finished doing was we went to the movie set Grind. It's Mark Cantu. He's the director of it. A lot of you might know him from other films. Look up his IMDb. I actually put in the description his first and last name. So he has this movie that he's doing right now called Grind, and they were filming up in the Pittsburgh area for 9 days, and today was their last day. Don't tell me about don't ask me about timing, when it ends, but I know they're probably in the midst of doing the wrap party probably now. So that's what I was doing. I was actually a production assistant. So, and it was very unusual because I don't really know what a production assistant does. So that was interesting. And then, since Fuzzy didn't have anything to do on Tuesday, because I was doing it for Monday and Tuesday. Since he didn't have any podcasts or anything, I dragged him over to the set.
Wow, that's cool.
Guy's a champ.
So I found out that I'm very good at using duct tape.
As
Very good
needed
at
on
that.
the set.
Watch out, Fuzzy.
So it's really funny is that before is that like Saturday night I was like, hey, do you want me to bring anything and stuff like that? And he goes well, you and I mean if you want gloves and duct tape. Yeah, I don't know if that's a really good sign. I was about to ask him, hey, do you want me to bring my passport too?
As long as they didn't say shovel, everything's good.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Just sounded like the start to a good evening to me.
So I mean, it was really nice and everything. I will say this, it's listed. So Lynn Lowry is in this one, and Ginger Lynn. So I got to meet them, of course, and Ginger Lynn is awesome. She's very huggy, very nice. She actually offered to be on the podcast, so she gave me her number to call her. So that's going to be in the future. But I will say this: what I found out was Felisa Rose, who is attached to the movie, unfortunately she couldn't do it. So while her name is still up on the IMDb, she's not actually in the film. So she's just going to be a producer on the film, which I was a little sad about. But there were other people there that were really great. The great thing about going on to one of his sets is that it's really like a family. So if you ever have the opportunity to meet him or be involved in one of his films, even, if it's just a crew or just going up there for interviews, he's going to treat you as if he's known you for a while. So that's a really great part. So
nice.
What was Fuzzy's experience?
It was fun. I mean, for the most part, I've done some video stuff for the company I used to work for, but yeah, it being a productions assistant and kind of thrown into the fire type of deal, you did well. So it was kind of learn as you go kind of thing, but cool environment, cool people on the set and everything. Looking forward to, I think they're targeting like February or later for the release of the movie.
So January is when he said he was going to try and finish it up by, and then February he's trying to get it into some theaters.
Mhm.
He has a premiere kind of time frame set up in February. Yes.
Yeah. But
Thanks.
outside of that, the only I would say downside is just driving from one end of Pennsylvania to the other end of Pennsylvania. But outside of that, it was a pretty good experience. But I've spent part of the time in the hotel and the other time on, at least for Tuesday, on set, and you know. It was cool to see how films are made or behind the scenes. A little bit more than I've been able to in the past, type of thing. So it was pretty cool. But outside of that, watch this movie that we're going to be discussing called Bitten, and man, oh man, for a vampire movie, it was a lot. Well, not to badmouth Twilight or anything like that. It's just not my type of vampire type movies. But for a vampire movie, this one started off pretty good. But I'm pretty sure we'll go ahead and get everybody's take on it. So let's start off with you, 3-bit. When we were saying we're going to kind of discuss Bitten, what came to mind as far as, like, were you expecting this to be like a big budget film, or was it more like, were you expecting something that might be a little campy, or how did you take to the movie as far as once you heard the title and went to seek it out, kind of thing?
So it's been like vampire related things in my life lately. I just finished this book called My Vampire System. Seen some Twilight randomly, and then watching this Bitten. So I think going into Bitten, before I watched it, like you were asking, like what I thought it was going to be. I think I was thinking it was going to be like a more fantasy based. I don't know why. I was thinking like, oh, there's probably like Underworld or something like. I don't know. I had I'd never heard anything about it. I didn't watch any trailers or anything like that. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just going to be like this vampire society or something. And it was definitely not what I expected. So yeah, so going into it, was pretty much my thoughts. Are we going fully going in, like fully
Uh,
going
we'll,
into the movie right now, or
we'll start with the initial. So
okay, but yeah, initial thoughts, I was like thinking it would be like a fantasy type of movie, and then I was pleasantly surprised by what it ended up being. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, Kaneda, what about you? Was this your first time seeing Bitten, or have you seen
Yeah.
it before?
No, I hadn't watched it before. I knew it existed, but I never got around to watching it. The only reason, I don't even know why I never got around to watching it, I just probably fell off my radar. Um, and I think the only reason why I knew that it existed, to be perfectly honest, is because Jason Mewes was in it, and I'm unapologetically a fan of him, regardless as to how good or not good he is at his acting. I find him to be very funny, and so. But like when I was like, oh yeah, the Jason Mewes movie, okay, this is gonna be a comedy then for sure, and I knew right away like what I was getting myself into. Um, yeah, that's pretty much that was my initial impression when you guys said this is one we were going with. I'm like, okay, cool, it's Mewes and it's gonna be comedy. He's gonna swear a lot. Who knows what else is gonna be in there, but it's Jason Mewes. So it was a Jason Mewes movie through and through, in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree on that. Big fan of him and his work, and especially as like Silent or Jay and Silent Bob stuff, as well as
So good.
Yeah. All right, Presto. What did you think when we initially made mention of this? Was this your first time seeing Bitten, or had you caught it before? What were your initial thoughts?
So this also was my first time watching Bitten, and like you two, I'm a huge Jason Mewes fan. So the fact that I didn't hear about this one, I was intrigued. I saw some of his other movies that weren't Jay and Silent Bob. Like he was in a really bad one with Paris Hilton. I don't even remember what that one was called. And then he was in like another horror movie called Feast, which was a decent one. So
Yeah.
the fact that I missed this one and it came after, like, I say he was pretty established as Jay, because I think this came out in '08. So he already did like Clerks 1 and 2 and Strike Back, like pretty established. So like you two, I was like, okay, probably gonna be a comedy where maybe he smokes up with a vampire or something. I don't know. Like I'm gonna go in this with an open mind. I'm not gonna watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, after I started watching, I was like, okay, I'm right on some things. I'm wrong about some things. But, yeah, it was a good watch.
Nice. So, Fee, what were your initial thoughts when? Because I think you've seen this one before and did a rewatch with me or something, correct?
So yes, so this is one of the ones that I watched because Jay was in it. So this one came out. Let me just double check here. Ooh, it's been that long. Or he just makes a lot of movies. I think he just makes a lot of movies because we haven't
No,
even gotten out of
it came out
2008.
in 8. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes a lot of movies here. Okay, Bitten. So this one was back in 2008. Like you said. So I watched this one probably a year after it came out, and I liked it because it's similar to the ones I grew up with that were more kind of modernized, like Blood and Donuts, where it's, you know, the vampire is either initially becoming a vampire or they've been a vampire for a long time, but they've modernized themselves to make sure that, you know, to keep a low profile and understand what's going on. And so I liked it not only because he was in it, but it kind of was familiar to me from when I was younger and was watching vampire movies in my teenage years. So yeah,
Nice.
I picked it.
Okay. Yeah, I like Presto and Kaneda said. Jason Mewes. I figured, it can't be bad, and it wasn't. It was just it was never on my radar initially. Like I probably avoided vampire movies probably because of Twilight. Like I was more of like that 30 Days and Nights or something like that type of vampire fan. and was it Underworld? Those were like my main two. Um, as far as vampire related films and things, there's quite a few others, but a lot of other ones just kind of like out of the radar. No zombies in it. I'll just kind of pass. But this one, yeah, it Jason delivered as far as like what kind of like what I expected. Some comedic relief stuff in there and all. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I kind of figured with it being something that's like on Tubi now, not to knock Tubi, but actually Tubi's been pretty good lately as far as like just random horror movies and things like that for us. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But I'm gonna kind of hand the baton to Fee to kind of move into like the next few questions. Where do you want to take us, Fee, as far as like us discussing the movie?
So, you know, it is kind of like what would have been, you know, what you would have seen you know, on Rhonda Up All Night or Elvira or whatever, as a kind of modernized version of the romantic vampire with a little edge to it. So when you were watching the movie, what were your initial thoughts on her transformation? Realistic, not realistic? What's going on?
I'm trying to remember exactly. I think first off, like I kind of the thing I did like was how contained it was. Like, so it really was about them too. So rather than jump to a bunch of different characters, like in some vampire movies where they have to establish like this whole sort of backstory of like other vampires and why it was like you were learning as she was kind of learning. So I don't know. That's one thing I did like. I feel like as she was learning, I believed her performance. I believed her as a vampire. Um, and then when things happen that's like bad, there was definitely a switch and like her mentality and everything. That's towards the end of the film, and a lot of funny moments there for sure. But yeah, I mean, overall, that's the aspect I like about because vampires could go, the genre could go in a lot of different areas, a lot of different directions of like establishing the rules of a vampire and all this different stuff. And I feel like I like the way they did. It was pretty contained um, instead of like over explaining things. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
I would say I would have liked a little bit more backstory on her,
Awesome.
or kind of build her as a character more. It just kind of was like he found her in an alley, she was already a vampire kind of thing. Like they really didn't explain it much. I don't know if that's what they were going for, that they didn't want to waste time explaining it. But and then they didn't, the only rule they really did was with the vampires was the sunlight. Like it was always dark. I feel like with Jason Mewes, you should have did some kind of cheesy with garlic and a vampire, or I don't know. That's just me.
But it was also the fact that she couldn't drink blood from like she had to drink live people blood. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
There's a couple times he tried catering to her and didn't work out.
yeah. True. I would have liked to seen like how she got thrown in the alley and stuff like that for sure. Um, yeah, that they didn't explain that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I thought her transformation was pretty good. I really liked the aesthetic of the eyes and the teeth when they were there. I thought it came off nice. That color of eye is just captivating, and it's mysterious but seductive and sultry in a weird way. So and the actress, I mean, she's not. Look, neither one of them is going to win an Academy Award for anything ever. Like let's be real, right? But she did well. She's real good looking, and they use that as kind of like, not like her secret weapon, but kind of just something to kind of, I guess, to immediately capture Muse's character, Jack. Captivate him. Kind of her look. She's real pretty. He's trying to help her. That's what he does. And then like kind of when he's trying to figure it out. See, I thought it was kind of weird. I didn't really like when he came to the realization that she was a vampire, because he's like, "What is going on with you? Like, what's wrong? Why have I not seen you in the light?" And then he drags her to the window, and he's pulling her arm into the light. Like, why? Like, if you really don't know what's going on, why are you actually like pulling her arm into the sunlight, right? Like, why would you do it like that? Why wouldn't you just open the shades or the blinds? I didn't really love that revelation that he had when he had it. But other than that, I thought her introduction was fine. I don't have a problem with there being some mystique behind how she got there or what happened. I think it could have been interesting to see. There's obviously another vampire, right? I think that could have been interesting to see that play into it. Like, was it another man? Was it a woman? Like, who got her? And they clearly weren't trying to kill her either. Like, it seemed to me like as a vampire, you're either going to kill or you want them to turn. And I don't know if that was intentional or if the vampire was spooked off and took off, and that's why she lived and ended up turning into a vampire. I don't know. But it was good.
The turn rules I didn't know either, because in the beginning he did get bit on the arm when they were kind of
right.
experimenting, and then I was like, oh, is he going to turn too? But then yeah, he didn't, and so I was like, okay, what is the rules for like when
For this
something's-
vampire.
for this vampire? Yeah,
Yeah.
Does
That
have to-
was a
Yeah.
little inconsistent because she didn't fully die.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't fully die, and she did get a good bit out of his arm. So traditionally, creating a familiar or a protector is supposed to drain a little bit to take kind of like make them
turn
part of you kind of thing. I still don't understand how that works, but Dark Shadows, right? So it didn't make sense because she should have been dead and then so yeah, that was an inconsistency there. But as far as her personality, we don't really know what her personality was before she got bit. And like Kaneda said, that could have added to her mystery about her. I'm just kind of curious on her backstory because she kind of went to an extreme like an addict would
Yeah.
to get what she wanted. Was that the vampire in her, or did she get in that situation because she originally was an addict?
So all movies, horror movies specifically, there's like an allegory to them to some degree, and this one was definitely, I think, probably the reason why Jason did it was because that was just after he got himself finally cleaned up from drugs and things like that. So the allegory for this one would definitely be addiction and drug use, and that was the impression that I took away from it. So it's no surprise to me that Jay looked very healthy when he made this movie. He wasn't having trouble with his lines from what I could tell, and he looked very clean and like he'd been working on himself. So I think that was probably his draw to it. If we're gonna get right down to it, I'm sure he'd probably say something like that too. I've not read anything about interviews that he's done about the movie, but it was definitely like the drug undertones and like the junkies, like they were like right there front and center. Like his entire day as a paramedic is pulling people out from the brink of death from overdosing, right? Like that's all he was doing. There was nobody got like hit by a car, and nobody fell down a flight of stairs. They were all junkies that were overdosing, and he was helping them. I feel like that was really what he wanted to do because of what he got himself through.
Well, he did
Makes
have
sense.
the cockroach guy. The
The
cockroach
witch?
in the guy's ear. The very first guy where he's trying to wrestle him down, the guy had a cockroach in his ear.
I don't remember that. I must.
Yeah,
have missed
they mentioned it
Or
later
forgot it.
on when they had that discussion
that. Okay.
between him
Well,
and the other.
one out of how many? Like there was actually like a full montage, like music.
No, I
montage.
get that. It was just that one piece. It's like but guy probably wouldn't have had a cockroach in his ear if he hadn't probably been drunk or something like that.
Sleeping on the in the dish.
Even the paramedic that his partner at one point even asked him like, "Are you using or are you on drugs?" I forget what his exact line was, and I was like, "Ooh, like, huh. Okay, that's a little risky of a line if you know Jason and his background, like you said."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seemed like it did seem because like he was being kind of shady, right? And so that is, in my opinion, his partner, who's like his best friend or father figure, if you will. He's noticing change in his behavior and the way he's acting. So to ask him that makes complete total sense to me, especially given how readily available it apparently is and wherever they are. I guess it was California somewhere. I can't even remember, but
I believe they were actually either real close to the border of Mexico, like right on the border, or they were actually in Mexico.
Or Patterson, New Jersey. That's
yeah,
what
or
I know.
Patterson, New Jersey.
Patterson, New Jersey.
Shout out to Patterson.
Said no one ever.
3 Bits like, what's going on here?
I'll let him know a little bit of the backstory about Patterson at a later date.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let me know. But I
Pick
was
the
just thinking,
scariest place you ever been to. Patterson's scarier.
Yeah.
oh, is it?
Yeah.
It basically people are wandering the streets looking like zombies, and there's not a film being filmed. So yeah,
Oh, dang.
Nice.
that's probably the best way to put it. Although there was one guy that probably wasn't on his meds that was on a skateboard, but then that's another story for another time as well. So yeah,
Shout
It
out to
sounds like
skateboard
parts of
dude.
New Jersey. Definitely sounds like New Jersey too.
yeah, no, but yeah, it there definitely was that addiction overtone kind of thing in the movie, which I agree with Kaneda. That might be why he may have taken the role. It may have appealed to him in a way to kind of get that message out and work on that message and stuff like that. So, but yeah, her backstory. Um, I think just finding her in an alley was fine. It does raise the question of what was the vampire before her type of deal, but yeah, the transformation aspect, the start of it almost seeming like she was fiending for something or an addiction type of thing. I mean, it technically is an addiction, just not the typical type that you expect. Most of the time people think, oh, it's some sort of drug substance or something like that. No, she's feeding for blood. But yeah, it was a pretty cool beginning as far as showing her transition and stuff, and just kind of throwing her into the fire. I do agree with Kaneda about the window thing. Like I was thinking, why not just look in a mirror kind of thing? Like if you're kind of suspecting a vampire, the window thing, it's going to burn them. Yeah, you could get onion, but he may not have an onion in his house. Just look in the mirror, be like, hey, I want you to check out something, and then see if somebody's standing next to you. But who knows if that would have been something in this vampire movie's lore type of deal. But overall, not bad.
So, what about the relationship between Roger and him? His, the father figure. Anybody want to comment on that?
Yeah, I actually liked it. I thought they had good chemistry. And like the end part had me cracking up uh, where they're both going against that wall sort of thing,
Uh,
where he doesn't believe me, like he's not a vampire. Like, well, I'll go talk to her or whatever. And then yeah, that part actually cracked me up. I thought their chemistry was pretty funny, and it was like I don't know. So you had the relationship with, of course, the main character and the girl. Is like that was like the other kind of strong relationship throughout the film. And yeah, he was raunchy. He was funny. He was he was he I thought he was just an interesting character overall. And I feel like it brought more to the film because you had him and his job, and then of course the alleyway people. I feel like he just I don't know brought something else to the film.
I feel like we all either are that guy or work with someone that guy is. Like that guy was very relatable. Where like you could picture somebody that right away. Like, oh yeah, he reminds me of so and so. He reminds me of so and so. Total side note: he reminded me of the brother-in-law from Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because he's bald and looks the same. The cop.
Yeah, Hank.
Yeah, Hank. He reminded me of Hank at first. I was like, is this Hank from Breaking Bad? And then I looked up. I was like, no, definitely not.
I like the dude. I am that guy. I've got a filthy mouth. I do apologize if I let them slip in here. It's just part of my DNA, man. I thought he was very funny. He was the funniest part of the movie, without doubt, in my mind. And yeah, the last couple scenes with him were he was very good. He was very funny. His delivery was amazing, especially when he's like tries to go back to the house or to Jack's apartment, and he's like, dude, I gotta take a crap. And he's like, no, get out. And he like won't let him in the house. And then later on, he's like, you're a real asshole. I was really pissed off with you because I was turtle heading the entire way home last night when when you kicked me out. You wouldn't even let me take a dump in your house. And they're talking like I thought it was very funny, his delivery, and I know I have a friend who's actually kind of like that too. So I could see a little bit of my buddy Andy in there, and it was killing me, that dude. That and the very last thing when, Jay gets tossed across the room and he's up against the wall, and then the old guy like does his thing. I was like, that's amazing. That is the best. That was my favorite part of the movie, I think.
Yeah,
Well,
same.
actually, that's my second favorite part of the movie. There's another part I like more, but for other reasons, obviously. I think we all know what I'm talking about.
He was probably my favorite character in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a relatable guy. Like Presto said, and even Kaneda echoed. It's like you know that person, you've worked with that person or grew up with that person, kind of thing. Just spot on, checking on his, like kind of like a son or a brother or something like that. What's up with you? It's like send him on like some sort of errand, come to the apartment to talk to the girl, be like, what are you hiding? It's like you're about to be, food right now. You better go. I gotta go to the bathroom. So, yeah, definitely a great delivery. The chemistry between the two, the back and forth and stuff like that. Yeah, you've seen it at your workplace or in school or where, tons of different places. So, and really enjoyed that camaraderie they had.
So their relationship stayed consistent, whereas his relationship with the girl, with Mika, changed. At first it was, hey, I'm going to take care of you, and she's very clingy. And then she starts to kind of go full into her addiction. And then when he, is trying to not be an enabler, because he was an enabler. When he tries not to be an enabler, she just switches so quick.
Yeah, immediately.
So quick.
As do drug addicts, right? I would think, like, if you decide that you're no longer helping them get what they want, then you don't have a lot of use. They don't have a lot of use for you anymore, and they'll try to use that against you to get you to do what they want, and that's exactly what she was doing.
Yeah, it did make me question, like, what was actually genuine throughout the film. Like, did she like him this entire time, or was it all just the blood? Well, I guess she didn't know, right, in the beginning, but once she got a hold of that blood, it felt like a very manipulative kind of relationship at one point.
Yeah, because it was like that rush, that feeling that she had, because she's like, I feel so good, like that's what she suddenly decided she needed to have all the time.
And not a lot of vampire films or shows really go into like they'll go into the pain element of being a vampire, but I feel like it's very romanticized, where it's more about the abilities and gets into the action part of it. So just looking back as a film as a whole, that was the theme of addiction, which I didn't really think about until we talked about it here. But yeah, that was definitely a theme, whether he was in the montage element of saving people and different drug addicts, getting them off the street, and talking about it with her. It is interesting to put it in that lens, because I don't know, I normally don't see that with vampire films, but in a way, that is something they do suffer. They need blood, but they put it in a lens where she's kind of using him for it. So
yeah, she was definitely using him
yeah,
for it. And I think it started out as kind of in the beginning as romantic, and she was really trying to carry that as far as she could go to keep him on the leash, to keep him tethered to her. And she did some wild stuff to convince him.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. bring some treats home for him, kind of thing.
Indeed, she did.
Is that what y'all call them?
Hey, that's a polite way of probably looking at it, but it was a definite way to kind of hook him in even further. I think the drawback is we kind of knew what was going to happen to the other lady, but yeah, they had at least she went out and grand style.
bang.
But yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, the relationship between those two was so much more deep, or not more deep, but it was just him being the enabler or diving into the enabler aspect, and her just grabbing the hold the reins and going full board. Like, I need to go out, I need to feed, and it's like, no, you're not going anywhere. And then she manages to go out, bring somebody back, and yeah, it's like, oh, you can't go anywhere. Hey, just come join us.
Yeah, they had a party for 3, my dude.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that whole scene, in which, and I doubt any small children are listening, but that scene was pretty intense. But hey, that's part of the lore with vampires as well, the romanticized aspect to it. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that was romantic, but hey, that was definitely a way to get your protector involved or continue to entice them to get involved. So that was a pretty intense scene. So
It was
I'll
long
just leave it at
too.
that. Yeah.
Like normally a scene like that in any movie, like even Basic Instinct, was 30 seconds, maybe not even.
Yeah.
But like that scene, when I was like, okay, oh, okay, we're going there. Oh, we're okay. That's how that happens. Gotcha. Okay, like I was kind of like, I was really surprised at how long that ran.
Yeah.
I thought it was tame.
I mean, for something that doesn't have a
2024.
triple X rating or NC-17, yeah, it was definitely well,
like it wasn't super racy, but like
right.
it went on longer than most scenes in a film.
Yeah.
Like it like, you definitely don't expect it. You expect that it's going to be probably more implied than shown for like a lot of scenes like that. Like, depending on the film, obviously, but a vampire movie, if there's something's going to happen, like look at the Lost Boys, that scene with Michael and Star was all of like 5 seconds, and but this one was like full on
5 minutes
at least. Yeah, you're right, absolutely. So I mean, I'm not complaining. I don't have a problem with it. I thought that was a pretty good scene myself, but
maybe the director's like, I don't know if I want to make horror movies or other type of movies, so I'm gonna put like a little short in this one to see how people like it and present it. And
I mean, it was artistically done and it looked good.
Yeah.
I just think so. I've seen other movies with him in, and he's been racier than that, because he made Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
You mean the director or the actor?
Jay?
Oh, Jay. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys watch Zack and Miri Make a Porno, right?
Yep.
Okay. So pretty racy and stuff like that for a comedy, but
But I always felt I thought that Zack and Miri was really more crass than anything, right? Like, the sex scene in that movie was not very long, and it was done to a very romantic song by Live. Like, it was really just that was a Kevin Smith film through and through, with the humor that only he can deliver.
Yeah. And Jay was the one that got chocolate frosted, right?
That's right.
Yes.
No, sorry.
No. Jay was the one doing it.
Oh, okay.
It's the guy that played Randall in Clerks.
Yeah.
But no, I meant the close-ups of it. The close-ups in this one were not normal close-ups. I mean, yes, you had the chest area and stuff like that, but when you've seen as many of those 80s, 90s style movies where, they're trying to make the romantic scene and everything like that and get as much skin in as possible, this was just weirdly angled to me.
Yeah, there was times where I was like, I thought there was a third person in this, and I never even saw the third person towards the end. I was like, there she is.
Mm.
And it was dark with a light, like
Yeah.
it was unique.
Yeah, I mean, probably that just comes down to the budgetary things, right? Like what camera they had on the shoot, what kind of lighting they had, because most of the movie was in the dark, which just looks good. Like it looks better than like if you did a very well lit scene and you have really good cameras and really good lighting, then you would have to light it way better, if that makes sense. Like if it's daytime, you have all this different stuff. You need more expensive cameras, you need more expensive lights to balance out the lighting. Um, it could just be a budget thing. Like, if you're talking about like the angles of different sex scenes, things like that. But
The darkness also covers up like a lot of sins too, right?
yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. That too. That scene where he was stabbing her over and over, that was pretty funny to me too. It seemed like the movie had some improv moments that was like they probably improv this and it was just a funny thing. Like probably the gas station bit was probably improv and probably yeah.
Yeah.
It
Well,
had little moments in there.
Did you guys catch the end credits? Did you go through all of the
No, I did not.
No.
footage? So you
No,
guys didn't actually see the end.
Oh, what happens at the end?
You didn't see the
Is it
end.
like a blooper reel or something?
No, you didn't
Well, they
see
had
the
some
post.
bloopers showing at for some of it, but like
Yes.
the end with Muse and his buddy.
Oh, I didn't see
You didn't
that.
see the post credits?
No, I didn't know I didn't know we were watching the MCU.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, apparently we were. Remember, Kevin Smith loves
He does,
comic books and stuff. So does Jason and all the other guys.
yeah.
So yeah, there was a post credit scene that was the actual ending. Because I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this, and that's not the ending.
Let me see.
Before the credits roll, that's not the ending.
Oops.
Oops, y'all missed it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'm watching it now.
You watching it now?
Yeah. Oh wow! I did not see that coming. Okay. Oh man.
Now you don't watch every movie until the very end, aren't you? From that one. And I
Yeah, for me,
recommend
it's just
right?
for me, it's just a habit. It's like, oh, the credits. Oh yeah, there's definitely something at the end. And then when there's nothing at the end, it's like I get mad at the movie. Like it was
Like you're
credits. They
owed
told you to get out. Why are you sitting there? But some movies, it's like, oh yeah, oh okay, that's. Oh well, this will lead to a part 2. But I guess if it's a part 2, it'll definitely go a lot differently. But
I don't think this one commands a part 2 because I think it would just be retelling.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where it would go because we've already established a relationship between Roger and him.
Yeah.
It's died to the end. It's going to be died to the end.
The only way, I guess, to do a sequel would probably be doing a prequel, actually.
Yeah.
And then maybe ending it with her in the alleyway or something like that.
That
Maybe.
could work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could probably work. Finding out more about the vampires, if they knew who they were and all that stuff. I don't know. That could be interesting, but
Yeah.
in terms of finding out what happens after this, nah, I think we're good. Dang, I did not see that coming though. I just watched it. Wow.
Yep. So you catch his eyes though?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
He did pretty good.
Yeah.
He did pretty good with them contacts, I'll give you that.
No, but I decided I was going to stick for the credits when they showed some of the blooper stuff where his ex that was wrapped in bubble wrap and he was like playing on whatever model they had wrapped in the bubble wrap and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, okay. So these are
I
the
gotta check
outtakes.
that out. Dang.
I will tell you this: he was very restrained in the movie because those bloopers were pretty raunchy.
They censored it a little bit.
Yeah, it toned it down so it just stays within the R rating, I guess. Kind of.
Yeah. It's surprising. Some PG-13 movies I feel like can be not worse than rated R, but it feels that way sometimes. It's like the older.
Yeah, you'll watch a movie and be like, "Wow, I can't believe that was rated PG-13."
Yeah, I'm like, hey, that's PG-13. Like, okay.
I can't believe some of these TV mature ones though, because they make no sense as well. Like, was it Festival of the Living Dead?
Mm-hmm.
It had to have been the drug references because it wasn't the blood and gore. It wasn't any sex scenes in there. And there was barely even any drug related, kind of usage going on. Hardly any curse words in there. And yet it was TV mature. Never.
Maybe the gun violence.
That's probably the gun thing, yeah.
It's crazy because then on TV you could have American Horror Story, which is like crazy sexual and violent and just like, damn, I can't believe they show this on like regular television at like 10 p.m. Like, it's pretty risky.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, so I mean, every I'm like, dang, they got away with this. This is crazy.
Hey, in 10 or 20 years, Game of Thrones will be like children's TV. Be like, oh, Game of Thrones on Sesame Street.
Like, dang.
So, so when we think about this movie and stuff like that, when I thought about it, yeah, you guys ever watch Thirst?
Nope.
Oh my God, where have you guys been?
Not watching Thirst.
I'm just catching up on a lot of horror movies. Like, I started like last year or so. For a while I don't know. I just didn't want to put that in my spirit. But now I like love horror movies. I caught up on like Nightmare on Elm Street, all the Halloween movies.
Nice.
Catching up on like everything I might have missed the past 10, 20 years of my life. So I feel like in a way I'm kind of newer to the horror genre and appreciating it. So I'm getting recommended a lot of like horror movies that from my friends are just like, hey, did you watch this yet? And I'm like, oh, checking it out.
Check out Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead? Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Great.
You're coming at him with Pumpkinhead? Out of all the ones you could pick, Pumpkinhead?
You don't like Pumpkinhead?
What's the vibe?
Are you kidding? Dude, Lance Henriksen is phenomenal in that movie.
What's the vibes? Is it more campy? Is it more
No, it's dark.
Thriller? Okay,
It's dark.
Okay.
So The Thirst came out in 2006, and it's kind of along the same lines of this theme, but it goes in a different direction. So some of the actors in this one, you probably don't know the two main characters. You might, because one of them was Matt Kessler. He played Max. Jeremy Sisto. The other one, Adam Baldwin, was in this one as well. And then the guy from Near Dark. I'm trying to think what I don't think it was him. Let me see.
I'm looking at, there's like a couple of Thirst movies. I'm trying to find the right one.
Yeah. So, Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton was also in this one. I believe it was him. So, but this one, it has that addiction theme to it. They were originally addicts, they're in a support group, but the girl has cancer, and then she just disappears and leaves the boyfriend. Like, and then it kind of goes downhill for them after that, because he does find her, and she's with, of course, vampires and stuff like that. And they have a different lore to it where only the female can turn somebody, whereas the males can't. So,
different rules. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a really good. I wouldn't say it's independent. I would say it's B movie, because I think there was some good backing to this as far as producers and stuff. And tons of writers on here, but it was just something that I thought of when I was watching this one originally.
Nice. Yeah.
So you guys should check that one out. You might like it better. It's got a little more action to it.
But not Jason Mewes.
What?
But not Jason Mewes.
No, it doesn't.
Ooh.
It doesn't. But you know what?
Gotta sell me better than that.
I know it's got some good stuff in there. It does.
Have you guys seen Vampire Diaries?
Yeah.
Yes.
Heard of it, haven't watched it.
Well, you'll see. You can see the back of my head on episode 10.
Oh yeah.
Fun times. Yeah.
Season 1, episode 10.
Season 3.
Will we know it's your head? Like, will we be able to
Maybe.
pick it out?
I could circle it. Well, which head is mine. I just thought about the PA thing you guys were talking about earlier. I have a funny PA story, but that might be getting a little off track of our conversation. But there was Will Smith and Martin Lawrence for Bad Boys, right? On the what's it called? The walkie-talkie. When they're called to set, they basically go like main 1 and main 2. When they're basically calling for Will Smith to go to the bathroom or Martin Lawrence to go to the bathroom or something. And Martin Lawrence was like main 2. And he was pretty upset that he was number 2. So the PAs had to like come up with a whole other system for calling Will Smith 1 and 2. But anyways, I just thought that was funny when I was thinking about your guys' PA thing with the tape, needing tape on set.
Man, oh man.
But yeah,
No,
I like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I liked Bitten. It was fun times. Felt like it was like campy, but it had serious moments too. Like that's what I enjoyed about it. It wasn't just like ha 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 the whole time. It kind of balanced it out with some serious moments, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, that's all I was gonna say.
No, I was going to say the only, I think, thing that was kind of a weird drawback. Well, I wouldn't say a drawback, but it was like Jay or Jack didn't realize that vampires need to eat, I guess, as often as like regular people. Although being that they're feeding on blood or feeding on people, it's a little bit different story. But it's like, oh, you're hungry again. I think that was about the only weird thing. It's like, come on, if you haven't seen vampire movies in this movie, then you just know that you eat or should be eating lunch or dinner or some sort of meal at least every day. So vampires going to probably do the same, but I'm glad they didn't have it where it was like 90 some plus body count kind of thing, because I think they would have run out of room in the apartment at that point. I thought it was interesting with them trying to hide the evidence and stuff like that, and then them realizing that, oh, they turn or they come back kind of thing, and trying to figure out how to make them not come back. That I guess would eventually, after you get past probably the first 3 or 4, would probably be a problem where it's like, all right, you fed on them. All right, now I gotta just pull their heart out of their chest or keep on stabbing through it with a stake kind of thing. But yeah, overall I like the movie. It's one of the, at least in my opinion, one of the better vampire movies I've watched. And like I said earlier, I'm not the biggest vampire fan outside of like, what was it, 30 Days or something like that, where they're in Alaska type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the
30
Underworld.
Days and 30 Nights.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, 30 Days of Night is a phenomenal movie, and it's a graphic novel. Fun story is like 5 years before the graphic novel came out, I had the same idea, something similar to that. Not exactly, but some of the same. Because I live in Canada. It's part of my language. It's fucking winter here, like half the year, and I was just bored one day. I'm like, man, like it's so dark here, all so early, and I'm like, vampires would probably like that, wouldn't they? And they kind of started like noodling on ideas about it, but I never did anything with it.
Oh. Yeah, but that concept of where it's like nighttime for 30 days, that made it like that was an awesome idea. So hopefully if you have any more ideas like that this time, definitely put pen to paper or put it to film kind of thing.
I'm working on it, man. I got a couple things that I've been noodling on for a little while now, and I'm working on a few things.
So
Nice.
just let y'all know, they did make a part 2 to 30 Days of Night.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
It's weird.
Now I gotta check it out.
Now I gotta watch it.
I mean, you should watch it, but it's not near like it's so far from being close to as good as the first one. The first one was great, and that was the other thing that I really liked about it was those vampires were violent. They were vicious. They weren't. I wouldn't say that they were seductive or sultry or anything like that, because they were really kind of like mangled looking vampires, as you recall. But they were, they were monsters through and through, and I like that. I prefer my vampires. If they want to have like a little bit of like a thing, that's cool. Like, they should have some sort of seductiveness to them, because they can sort of like bring you to their side, I guess. But I really enjoy a good vampire movie where they go hard and they just shred their victims to shreds, just like the Lost Boys, like that scene with the punks out in the desert or whatever. That is one of my all-time favorite vampire scenes ever. So, but yeah, 30 Days a Night, you should check out the sequel just because you've seen the first one, but don't go in with any high expectations by any stretch, because you will come away very disappointed.
Okay. I'll definitely keep that in mind.
It kind of reminded me of Silent Hill 2. How Silent Hill was weird, but it made sense. It was just kind of like a fantasy kind of realm, almost. But the second one kind of went too far. It kind of went too far into like a cult kind of thing, and that's where I felt 30 Days a Night 2 went. So
okay,
check that out. Got Pumpkinhead.
Well, we are coming up to October soon, so I have some good ones. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but I have some good ones. Yep. I'll let you see the list.
Heck yeah.
Hopefully. You won't be mad at me.
I do enjoy you picking movies that at least I haven't heard of and make me watch. Like, it's so easy to pick. If you want to talk about vampires, like, you could pick Blade. You could pick... I just had a bunch of them. I forget. But yeah, you could just pick... It's so easy to pick, like, ones that you can talk about for 2 hours easily, because, like, everyone knows, everyone has an opinion. But it's good when you pick one that, like, not a lot of people know about, and they can check out, and then they could form their own opinion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I just want people that haven't watched these before to go back and watch them, because they are rewatchable, or they are good still to this day. They're not. It's not the same plot over and over again. That's just been overdone.
Festival's not rewatchable. Sorry.
Well, okay, fine, whatever. I thought that was an awesome PSA announcement for young children that, even though it says TV mature on it, I think parents sitting down and saying, hey, this is why. You know what I'm saying? You don't do drugs.
Right.
You lost
or smoke meteors
Or
or comets or
snort something from a comet, man. I think that's the key right there.
Hey, these kids, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a high school teacher. These kids and their stories about what they do.
Oh,
Tide Pods, I get it.
Not put it past them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I thought that was. So if y'all want to sit down with your kids, or you know somebody that has a kid that's going in the wrong direction, hey, this is why we don't do this, because it could start a zombie apocalypse. You never know.
That's your selling point.
That's my selling point.
Well, that's the usefulness of that particular movie. Like, compared to other zombie movies, there are so many better zombie movies. But if you want to put a use for that one, that one might be the just say no to drugs, kid kind of film or something. Like, that's the one the after school special should be.
Maybe kids don't watch this movie, but yes, that is a good PSA.
Or it could be a punishment for them if they've got caught with drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Preston's having some connection problems. So it might not work for the high schoolers, but I bet you them elementary kids, it'll put something in their head.
Hey, I wasn't allowed to watch Alien and Blade when I was like 9 or whatever, but when I watched it anyways when I was like 10, I was like, ooh, this is great. Been missing stuff. So yeah, he's gonna watch
the only movies when I was a kid, like, it was very free reign, right, in the 80s. The only movie my dad was like, no, you are not watching this horror movie, was Hellraiser.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. I was so mad. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I had to sleep over with my buddies. We used to do it all the time. We'd go to the store, we'd rent a bunch of flicks, and I'm like, oh, there's new Hellraiser's out, so we grabbed it. And I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to see that too. It looks pretty cool. And then we come in from, later that evening, and I'm like, all right, we're going to watch. He's like, you're not watching that Hellraiser movie. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, no. He's like, I'm pretty lenient about what you watch. Hellraiser is not something you're going to get into. So.
Yeah, interesting.
Hey, back.
Sorry about that.
It happens, man.
I'm new at this podcast thing, so.
How you doing? Good.
Yeah. Gremlins, I wasn't allowed to watch that, but I watched it anyways.
What? It's a Christmas movie. It's a feel-good Christmas movie.
Yeah, those things freaked me out though when they got wet. So I probably shouldn't have watched it. I was like 6. And
I love Gremlins, and I was like you. My mom, whenever I was bad, she'd be like, I'm turning on Gremlins, and somehow it was always on TV when I was bad. Like, who would have thought? But I actually have a life-size gremlin in my man cave because.
Beautiful.
Oh, which version?
The NECA brown one.
Oh, okay.
And then I have when they 30 creepy. Of the figures. Sorry, what?
Not the cute version.
No, I have a gizmo here also. I have 50 gremlins up in my man cave. So
beautiful.
Ranging from like little 7-inch ones to, I don't know, how tall is a gremlin? 3 foot?
Probably.
Like that, yeah.
I love Gremlins. I saw that movie in theaters when it came out, and I was 6 years old, and I loved every second of it. It didn't scare me. It's so good. It's timeless. I wish they'd make another one.
Ooh, do you though?
I've only seen
I do. I really do. And I didn't like number 2, but I would like to see another. I would like to see Gizmo get reunited with Billy again.
They made the cartoon on HBO.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
They did.
Yeah, it's like Legends of Mogwai or something.
Yeah.
And I think that got picked up for a second season.
Yeah, it might have. I'm not sure. I didn't see it.
Well,
Hey,
they
wow, I
announced.
didn't even know they made a Gremlins too.
I
Yeah.
thought it was fun. I mean, they were up in New York. Like, it was definitely more comical than the first one. I mean, you have Hulk Hogan in the second one, right?
Mhm.
And the Broadway dance number, I didn't dig that at all.
Yeah.
Oh, when in New York, you gotta live the part, man.
I guess so.
They were just gremlins trying to let loose, you know? Stressful
Yeah.
to pop out of Gizmo's back and eat after midnight.
Yeah, unless Bill Mosby is in a musical, I'm probably not gonna watch it.
Mm.
He's been in two that I know of.
Do you guys like musicals?
No,
You
No.
don't like? Okay.
I mean
Okay.
I'll watch Neil Patrick Harrison one, but it's got to be a particular actor. Or
What
actor.
about okay, so I have two favorite musicals, right? It's I do consider this a musical, but it's kind of not. It's The Prince of Egypt, with it has a lot of celebrities if you look up the cast. But Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack for that.
Mhm.
Mm.
Incredible. And then Newsies with
Uh,
Christian Bale.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Those are my two favorites.
yeah. So
For sure.
no, I do the horror ones. So you have
Oh, there's horror music. Yeah. Hmm.
yes,
Sort
there's
of.
Repo, the generic opera or
Mhm.
genetic. Is it genetic or I think it's genetic opera. Um, and then the other one is Carnival. What's it called? Let me check it out.
I don't
So
know
I'm
if I ever
assuming
watched a horror musical.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's what
think
I
I
was thinking.
have
I was like,
either.
wow, that's a
Yeah.
Oh, you have to
I mean,
watch Repo the Genetic Opera. It's really good.
maybe I
And then
have.
the other one that he did, he was really good in it. He played one of the children of the head of the corporation.
Mhm.
You know the main guy that was the I guess the professor or whatever in Buffy the Vampire Slayer TV show.
Mm.
Um,
Mhm.
he was in it as the father.
In Repo,
Interesting.
or are you talking
Yeah,
about another? Oh, okay. I think
the
I,
yeah
I
Repo
have.
the Genetic Opera. Oh my god.
I think I have watched this. You just unlocked a memory I forgot I had.
Uh-huh. He
Yeah,
also
I seen
did
this a long
another one.
time ago.
The Devil's Carnival. That was the other one. I didn't like Alulia. I didn't like the second part to it as much because it was kind of the opera part of it was kind of soft and everything. It wasn't as, heavy as the first one. The first one was more witty and musical and whimsy and stuff like that. Yeah.
would you consider Little Shop of Horrors one? Because I seen
Well,
that.
Absolutely.
I like that one too. But I think my favorite are those two. I just like the songs. The songs were um very kind of like the first setup was like I said, whimsical, witty. The range was really nice because you had a lot of bass and a lot of heavy, but you also have the lighter um tones as well. So it was a nice balance. The second one, it was the lighter tones. I really didn't like it that much.
For me, the best musicals are probably just three of them. I'd have to say Pink Floyd The Wall. I consider that to be musical because it's mostly just music. South Park, the movie.
Mhm.
I'll fight anybody to the death on that one. And Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
There's
Mm.
uh,
Yeah.
and the Rocky Horror is on every year Thanksgiving, Halloween night when we get back from trick or treating with the kids. We put that on, and then they start going through their loot bags, and we have that on.
Mhm.
There are parts I'll skip past because they don't need to be part of that. Well, my oldest is 15 now, so it really doesn't matter anymore. But my youngest, she doesn't need to see that. But the like everyone in the house knows the music, loves it.
Mhm.
So, but I have not seen the other one you mentioned there, the Repo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that one was really, really awesome.
I went to down here. We have Dragon Con, and
Uh-huh.
I remember I took a wrong turn and in this large convention center, and I opened it. It was this coliseum with just hundreds, probably thousands of people all watching Rocky Picture Horror Show.
Mhm.
And they were quoting it word for word
Yep.
Mhm.
of everything that was happening. So the movie was on, everyone in the crowd was quoting it. And then everyone, there was someone reenacting the scenes at the same
Mhm.
time.
Yep.
Mhm.
I was like, dang, I didn't know it was that popular. Like,
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Oh yeah.
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 Wow.
There's in the city where I'm from, there's a small theater. It's very small, a very old theater,
Mhm.
and they do it every year. They do it a couple shows, and it's everybody, like almost everybody dresses up for it. Everybody brings like water guns, so when it's raining, they're shooting the water guns up, and then like they're holding like newspapers over the head so they're not getting wet. Like
Wow.
it's a
4D
whole production,
experience.
and it really is a really fun experience too. And I think that could be another reason why I enjoy it, because I did get to experience that once, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I just like when people shout back at the screen, especially like when the narrator's there. It's like, "Where's your neck?" So it's just a fun time overall. But
Yeah, the first time we went, I dressed up and I had Fuzzy dress up, and
Poor
then
guy.
What did you dress up as? Magenta?
no,
Yeah.
well, no, she dressed up as magenta.
I dressed as like magenta.
Oh, okay. Would you dress up as Rocky, Fuzzy?
no, no. I had the boring
Rat.
suit or like sweater and pants or whatever. Like Brad before getting changed at the house type of thing. So I had the boring get up, I guess you could say.
So you just don't have the legs for the heels,
No.
I guess then.
No.
No,
Don't have
no,
the legs or the balance.
I would say it's the balance and not the legs thing. I just think he has a thing about being kind of partially undressed in front of people.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
My buddy
He's a
played
good guy.
Frankenfurter at in a play here in the city,
Mhm.
and he looked the part, man. And my wife goes, "Jesus Christ, who knew Whitney had such beautiful legs?" I'm like, "Come on."
Tim Curry.
Yeah, the second performance we went to was actually better than the first. That was at Monster Mania. Monster Mania usually has it when they're over in Cherry Hill, so it's like twice a year. So
Yeah, super cool that they do that. I love stuff like that.
Yep. So
Yeah, you got to get the little goodie bag so you can throw stuff as well, like the rice and stuff like that they usually hand out.
It basically becomes a 4D experience.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But while we're on the topic of things that are out and things that are going on, y'all know Salem's Lot, the remake, is coming out on Max in October, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So that's happening. Everybody that's already seen it has said that it's not half bad. It's worth a watch and everything. So and then 28 days. I mean, not 28 days. 28 years later, they already wrapped production on that.
Nice.
So that is supposed to be coming out. They actually have a specific date. June 25th, 2025.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Like I really legit cannot wait for that.
Well, they also have the cast up. They have the cast up as well, besides Murphy. So that's going to be interesting because they're kind of saying it's not a full trilogy. They're taking out 28 weeks.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're taking out 20 weeks out of that um
So they're gonna
out of the
retcon that?
trilogy, and they said there's going to be they're trying to make another film.
Mm.
Yeah, so they're making 3 more,
Hmm.
is what I'd read, but I didn't heard that they were gonna remove 28 weeks.
They're removing it from the lore. Yeah,
Huh.
Interesting.
they're
So it's in the
not.
timeline, just not, I guess, the focus because it doesn't involve
Yeah,
Murphy, or
no, it's not that. It's that was not the way it was supposed to go.
mm.
The rewrites on their original scripts were not to the liking of the original of Boyle and his buddy.
Mm-hmm.
So
Alex.
they're
Yeah.
kind of removing it from the lore and picking up is from there's not much notes on this, but it's picking up somewhere after the very first original ending.
So kind of retconning the other ones.
Mhm.
Yep, yep. So the third movie is going to be the one that's not made yet. And they're at least going to do the trilogy. So if anything else gets cut off after that, that's what it is. But they have plans of making 3 more. But they'll be happy with just making 1 more.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very interesting. We don't know what the plot is yet. They've been
Mhm.
very, very limited on what they've released, but that's what I've gathered so far.
That's fine. I don't need them. I don't need to know much about it. I might watch the teaser whenever that comes out, and then I'll probably avoid everything else going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I
Just
don't
just
have
for the
Max.
fact that that was like one of my favorite, zombie flicks of pretty much all time. And I know they're not quote unquote technically zombies, but I consider them zombies, so that's good enough for me.
I think we've adopted them as being zombies. They're just a different form of zombie. Because if you don't adopt 28 days, years, whatever, if you don't adopt them, you can't adopt the new Dawn of the Dead and the Fast Zombies.
Yeah.
Or the Brad Pitt movie.
Exactly.
World War Z,
Z.
yeah.
Yeah, those had fast zombies.
Yeah.
They did.
Or
And
was Army of the Dead? Is that the Zack Snyder Vegas one?
Oh yeah.
That
yeah.
one had
I
a lot
enjoyed
of.
that one.
That one was interesting because it showed like the different form of zombies, like the
Mhm.
intelligent ones, the I guess dumb ones, like
Yeah.
the ones that could communicate. That was cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you also have to Night of the Creeps. You have to get rid of that one out of the zombie universe as well, and we're not letting that one go either. I know it's slugs in the brain, but it made you a zombie, right?
Hmm.
They came back to life.
Yeah.
When they were on the bus, they came back to life. They were walking around. They were dead, right? So
Yeah.
technically, they're zombies.
Are they zombies or aliens?
Nope, they're zombies.
All
It's
right.
just that they have aliens controlling them.
Dang.
But remember, you have the virus type. You have the toxin type. We have to get rid of, IMAD out of the zombie universe because it was, spoiled meat. And then you have
Mhm.
bad meat on top of that, where that was also a spoiled meat type scenario and why people were becoming zombies. So there's so many different ways of becoming a zombie that you got to throw everything in there.
There's also like a lot of different zombie types. Some that walk slow or who are dumb. Some that walk slow, they're smart. Got the fast ones.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I love zombie movies actually.
Ones that can open up doorknobs,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. It would take like I don't think I would survive in the universe of World War Z. I don't think anybody would.
Yeah, I don't even think I would try. Just like, it's easier
Yeah,
just to give in. Just take me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you have an illness, you're safe, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do I
Just-
find that out? Well, all right. Well, if I have the knowledge that I have
Uh-huh.
now from the movie, then I guess I'll be
Mhm.
okay. But yeah, I
Kind of
always thought
side.
about that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it'd be kind of sad to find out you have that illness during the zombie apocalypse. It'd be like, why are they running away from me or running and avoiding me? Oh, wait, I must have cancer or
Yeah,
something.
I'd be
It's like, oh
offended.
no.
I'm like, come on, what? Like, what's wrong with me? Like,
You're winning, but are you?
yeah, but are you really? I always thought about like during a zombie apocalypse, like what is the best place to go? And I kind of chopped it up to just being on an island, but that you have to kill all the zombies on that island, and then
Yeah.
hopefully it's a good island where you can farm and stuff like that. And also, if they can't swim, then yeah,
No.
that's where I would be.
Yeah,
You
if they
can swim,
swim,
then
you're
you're
done
screwed.
anyways.
Yeah, then you're done.
No,
Well,
I've always well, we've had the backup plan as far as like a bug out place to go.
Mhm.
One was our old Army Reserve base that's been decommissioned. But since that's been taken over by overgrown greenery and stuff like that, you got to be one of the first ones during the outbreak to go to a supermarket and
True,
just
true.
barricade the doors. Hopefully, you have some weapons or some armament to kind of protect you, because other people want to have the same idea. But you just got to be the first one to get to that grocery store. Just don't go to. Um, I was about to say Aldi, but try
Yeah.
well, I guess you can go to Whole Foods, but
You thinking like a
not like
Walmart,
price is going to matter at that point. But
like a
yeah, just go to a
Costco?
big grocery store and barricade yourself in. Don't do the WalMarts, because I mean, if you don't secure the weapons, that they sometimes they'll have rifles in Walmart, so
Mm-hmm.
you might be battling against people that's already in the store at that point. But
Yeah, Walmart has too many access points.
yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
There's a
just gonna
few.
hang out in Patterson, New Jersey. I'll be safe there.
my offering was a Best Buy. Usually they only have one, maybe two exit and entrance points.
Yeah. See, thinking.
Yep.
all the technology, but no food.
Yeah, they're gone. Well, the technology, well, the games are gone. I guess they still have they got rid of the games.
Well, I guess there is a use for a mall or a strip mall or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they should have roof access.
Well, there was a movie about the mall, right? That's what Dead Island is kind of based off. There's a movie, like a zombie thing based in the mall.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead.
Okay, Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, the original and the remake even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good
Which
tutorial.
malls these days, unfortunately, it looks like a lot of them are going the way of the dodo for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Like the closest mall to us has a medical center in it now.
Help.
And it has I think 3 stores. The rest are like holiday, like, oh, buy your trees here. Oh, buy your Halloween mask here. And it's like
Oh,
just
Spirit
seasonal
Halloween.
stuff. Yeah.
And Christmas
But,
tree shop.
But yeah, most of the stores are gone from the malls out here, with the exception of the ones that were actually converted into condos, which I thought that was kind of a cool idea. And it just, I can't imagine living in a mall at this point if there's no stores. But yeah, some of them have even gone the way of converting them into living spaces. So, yeah. Something from our childhood is becoming, obsolete.
Yeah, there's a couple of malls shutting down around me as well. I believe the one, the one that's in Stranger Things, like if you guys watch Stranger Things, it's like season whichever one they're in the mall. That's not. It's
3.
about an hour away from my house. I
Mhm.
think that one's okay. But they're shutting down like pretty much all the others.
It had a movie that it was filmed in. Now it's a historical site.
Oh, okay, okay. I knew something happened.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
I mean, Monroeville Mall is a historical site at this point. People
Pretty
flock
much.
to it
Yeah, people
once or
probably
twice a
just want
year.
to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're down in Georgia then, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Georgia. I know I got the Chicago Bulls hat on, but I'm a Georgian.
Well, what do you have in Georgia to really brag about?
What do we have? I mean, we have a lot of movies filmed down here.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
you
much
do.
what we can brag about. But besides that, really bad drivers in Atlanta.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And good peaches.
You sold me. I'm moving tomorrow.
Like, yeah.
Say no more.
I remember when I was first dating Fuzzy, and I took him down to go visit my mom, who lived in Atlanta, Georgia. She lived in Midtown,
Thank you.
and she needed to get to work. She was a nurse, and my mom had a heart condition, but she also didn't really like to work. So she needed to get to work to keep her job. And we wind up in, how deep was that? Was that traffic?
About two. Well, it looked like it was like 4 blocks or something like that. But
I believe it.
I had a Jeep Wrangler at the time,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't really care about like it was as long as I didn't see people walking on the sidewalk. I was like, oh, I can turn, go on the sidewalk, and go past this, and that's what I did. And everybody in their cars are like looking at me like I'm the crazy person because I probably was the crazy person at that point. But it was like I figured if we ever got pulled over, it's like no, I got to get this healthcare worker to the hospital. You
Mhm.
know, they're like nurses or RN nurses are like important for those facilities. There could be an emergency that they need to be attend to. So as long
His
as I'm not
sister is a
causing an
nurse.
emergency, I figured I had
Yeah.
every right to do that. So
Yeah,
His,
traffic
his,
is awful here.
his mom was a nurse. His sister was a nurse.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, traffic is horrendous down here. And yeah, everyone drives like it's the apocalypse. So
Yeah, I remember a few times the highway. It's like the speed limit's 60. Everybody's doing 80 at the minimum. Even with gray hair and just knuckles on the wheel, they're still doing 80.
yeah,
You
even
know,
when I'm driving fast in the fast lane, let's say I'm going 90 or
mhm.
95 or something. There's still a car behind me. Like I'm like, like I'm going really fast right now.
And what's up with turn signals?
They don't exist.
Yeah,
What's up with
four
turn
four
signals?
lanes. Good luck, everybody.
So
there should be a
apparently,
movie. Yeah, go ahead.
so apparently you don't want the zombies to know you're turning. Is that what it is?
I guess. I mean, all I remember is they drive almost as fast as people in Florida, but they seem more reckless or less capable of driving as well in comparison to Florida. It's like these should be your latest NASCAR drivers. Just put them on the track. They're fast. They can dip and dodge in and out of traffic pretty easily. Atlanta, it's like they start dipping and dodging. It's like, oh, the exit's right there, and I'm 4 lanes across. Yeah, let me just turn and cut off people, cut off that truck that just flipped, and
Like you
good
won't
luck,
crash into
everybody.
me. Come here. That's how. Yeah, everyone drives in Georgia. Like you're not gonna crash into me. You're
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
Cali was pretty bad too when I was in Cali. But
No, don't even discuss that.
yeah, it was bad. but
Potholes to contend. So we have to be better to contend with the potholes as to not flip our car on the highway. So yeah.
No, I'm talking about the shoes. I'm talking about the shoes, Fuzzy.
Hmm.
Remember California,
Oh,
the
God.
shoes?
All right. So I went to Fan Fest. Yeah, went to Fan Fest in LA, and it's early in the morning, and I think we were driving to the airport, and people. At least I didn't see any weapons, guns or anything pointing out the windows. But you could tell people are frustrated at each other, and I'm seeing like a bunch of shoes on the highway. Like I've lived in Pennsylvania. I've lived in New York. Each place like almost 20 plus years at a minimum kind of thing. Never seen like endless shoes on the highway. I'm driving in LA. I'm seeing shoes on the highway, and I'm actually seeing people throwing shoes out the window
Oh
when
my
people cut them
gosh.
off. Like I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe that was the nice day because you hear about the drive-bys and stuff out there, but it's like it was the funniest thing. Like I saw somebody cut off a SUV that was in front of us, and then I see a shoe or what looked like a shoe go flying out the window, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Here's a shoe.
that's new. But yeah, it was the craziest thing. I don't know if that's a new trend. Maybe it is a new trend, and less bullets, more shoes, and that'll be great. But yeah, LA is a different animal. $8 a gallon when I think the rest of like the East Coast was like in the $4 range.
No space in
Um,
between cars. No
yeah,
space whatsoever.
yeah, parking. Well, let's put it this way: if you're trying to go to a restaurant, you know how most restaurants have their own parking. No,
Mhm.
everything is valet. You're paying to park anywhere. Like you might as well not even drive. But then again, it's going to be Uber City everywhere, I guess at that point. But yeah, if you drive in LA, you're going to have to park far enough away to find the parking spot and then walk back to avoid like paying, $20 plus just to get, McDonald's or no, what were we getting? Tacos from what's his name?
Oh, Trejo's Tacos.
Yeah, Trejo's Tacos. So it's
Ooh,
like
how were they?
they are
Awesome.
good. They're just not $20 valet good, but they're good. I'll give them that.
We were able to find a parking meter that had a space open, and
Mhm.
of course Fuzzy, being the daredevil he is, cut somebody off to get it. But that's his NASCAR, right? That's NASCAR in him.
Hey, I had plenty of room to
Race
do
and
the
legend.
U-turn and get in that spot before they could back up.
The trick
I'm
is
just saying.
if you guys ever come to Georgia, uh, I use the turning signal, right? But if you use the turning signal, that means the drivers in the other lane, they don't want you to get over, so they'll
Mm-hmm.
speed up so you don't get over. So
Uh-huh.
either just don't use the turning signal, or if you use it, then do it fast.
Yeah. Well, that's
Just the
kind of the thing
trick.
everywhere. It's like as soon as you put that turn signal, everybody's got to
They're
speed up.
like,
No, no,
what?
you ain't getting in front of me.
No, no,
Nope,
no.
nope, not me.
Like, gosh, I'm trying to be a safe, good, chill driver, NPC driver.
Yeah.
Well, we are, as Fuzzy puts it, we're over time. He always wants me to try and be by 7:30. Um, so yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. But I do appreciate everybody being here. And it was nice to have 3-Bit here. We missed him last week,
Yeah.
but he made it.
I made it up. Made it.
So, Fuzzy, you wanna do the outros?
Yeah, I'll do the outros. So once again, thanks everybody for coming in and watching us. Thank you guys for joining us tonight for this discussion. We'll let everybody get their outros. So I'll start with 3-Bit. Let everybody know where they can find you, whether it's social media or other podcasts and things like that. Tell everybody where they can find you.
For sure. Thanks for having me on. It's fun to uh, just go ahead and watch some movies I've never heard of. I like watching bad movies, good movies. It doesn't matter. I like just learning from movies in general. That's just kind of my mentality. So I can enjoy almost all movies in a way. But yeah, appreciate you for having me on. You guys can find me on Twitter, I3bit, Twitter formerly known as X, and I am running the show alongside with Fuzzy, Pixelated Echoes every Sunday, where we just discuss video games and what's going on in the gaming world, and that's always fun. And then aside from that, with fun speculation on Mondays, it's the FSP podcast. I believe that's at 10 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. And that's always a good time as well. So that's all the sort of things I'm got going on. Besides that, just check out my Twitter for different commercials I might be working on, so you guys can see that as well. And yeah, a pleasure being on here. It was fun show. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being on here tonight. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nada, let everybody know where they can find you as well and what you got going on.
You can usually find me mostly on Twitter at Xbox Canada. And sometimes I'll do a video review on my YouTube channel, Secret HQ Reviews. I am currently reviewing the newest gaming mouse from Turtle Beach, the Cone XP Air.
Nice.
Pretty sweet mouse. And I have another headset from them coming as well. Should be here this week, I think. And also, I might start doing more videos about my 3D printing and laser engraving and cutting and all that other good stuff. So check that out, because probably going to mostly be there. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't really decided. It's all about time in and time out, right? And I'm also have another project that I'm working on that I'm not talking too much about yet, but I don't know why I do this to myself.
Yeah, you always keep motivated and always keep pushing. So yeah, it's a full plate keeps you busy.
I feel like I must have like adult ADHD or something, because I just can't seem to like not, just focus on a couple things and just do them really well. Instead, I have to have like 100 things and do them really half-assed. I don't know.
Mm.
I feel that.
Yeah, but once again, thank you so much for being on here tonight.
Thanks for having
Always appreciate you and all your views on these movies and things. Greatly appreciate you being
I like
here.
hanging out with all you guys, so it's always fun for me.
Nice. Matt, thank you for returning on here as well and being a part of this podcast along with Kaneda, me, and Fee. Let everybody know where they can find you, whether it's social media or other, like conventions and things like that, and what you got going on.
So I'm like super busy. I got like 15 projects, 2 movies. Yeah, I got nothing going on. I'm just a simple guy, actually. I just like going to concerts, going to watching movies, going to conventions. As I'm getting a little older, I'm enjoying weekends when I don't have stuff going on. It's kind of nice. Like when holidays are, like, yeah, I got 4 days off. It's like, damn, we got picnics every day. Like, I'm more busy when we have more days off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoy doing these pods. So, spoiler, if you just fast forward to an hour and a half, it seems like I'm going to be on more often. So, get used to me, people. I really don't do a lot of social media, but I have an Instagram. It's MROMANYSHYN. And yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. Always appreciate your thoughts on these things and look forward to you on the next episode as well, along with Kaneda and or Silent Cipher. We'll have something figured out on the rotation. Fee, let everybody know where they can find you as well and what you got going on.
So, besides this podcast, you can find me on Twitter. Ferocious, Fee, was it 78? I think it is. Just put in Ferocious Fee, you'll get me. And so as of November 18th, I will have a Facebook. I have one right now, but as of November 18th, my name will officially change, hopefully. There's a 5% chance that the judge could say no, but he shouldn't. I have a good lawyer. So you can also check out my IMDb page. It's Fiona C. Johnson. Don't go to Fiona Johnson where she was in the Matrix. That's not me. Okay.
Damn.
Sorry. But check out future in the future and stuff like that, because we will have the director from Grind on. We'll have definitely Ginger Lynn, and some of the other casts that were on it. There's also a Amityville Barbie coming out. And I contacted the producers of that, and that's going to be interesting because they're actually roundabout in Delaware, which is pretty close to, I know, Presto, me, and Fuzzy. Yeah. So they're actually having they're on Indiegogo They're really actually very inexpensive as far as the after kind of like wrap up party. They're doing a wrap up party thing where you can meet the cast and stuff like that. And
what was
everything.
this movie?
So this is Amityville Barbie. So there's another Amityville movie. We've established there's over 20 of them, right? Well, this is a new addition to that lineup of fan films. Because they're all pretty much fan films. They're not really actually in the storyline as we know. But I thought it would be cool because this one is a very interesting one. I'm not exactly sure if it's I'm not sure if it's live action or not. So it might be animated, kind of CGI thing. So I have to talk to the producers about it and stuff like that. So, but they're definitely having an after party, kind of like a wrap up party where other people can, come in and stuff like that. It's not going to be a whole bunch. So if you want to do it and you're in the area of Delaware, I would definitely try and get the tickets. It's on Indiegogo. But it might be interesting. You know what I'm saying? So, but I thought it'd be cool to have them on and talk about it and stuff. Okay? So that's in the future. We just got, in the next, January at the latest, get something going. Okay? So, yeah.
Cool.
What about you, Fuzzy?
Oh, well, for me, you can typically find me on gaming podcasts as well as this podcast. Just want to start off by saying it was great having everybody on here tonight. And for those that were checking us out tonight as well live, as well as those that will catch us on replay, we greatly appreciate the views. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions or comments, don't forget, make comments below the video. Give us a like if you like the content. Subscribe if you haven't already. We greatly appreciate it. To find me and my rambles on anything gaming related, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter, at fuzzy_Belvedere, as well as on Fun Speculations channel later on tonight for Xbox Ultimate at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Shop podcast tomorrow on PTK Blam's channel at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Saturday. And then with 3-Bit for Pixelated Echoes at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday. Look forward to it, and then hope to see everybody back here in the chat or watching us live for the next episode of Fright Night with Ferocious Fee next Friday at 6 p.m. Thanks again.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.